This tutorial will take you through the online application for round 2 of the New Hampshire State Council on the Arts Save Our Granite Stages grant program. This tutorial assumes that you have created a free account at submittable.com and that you're logged into the system. Before I start going through the application, I just want to put a couple of things out there as awarenesses for you. It is very, very important that you carefully read the guidelines for this grant program before you start the application. The best way to do this is to have all of the documents that the application requires ready to go on your computer so that when you start the application, you can complete it in one sitting. So, let's start going through the application. The first thing I want to say here is that any field that has a red asterisk next to it is required. And if you don't complete required fields, the system will not accept your application. So that's an important thing to remember. So the first thing that we're asking about is what kind of organization you are. And so this grant program in the second round is open to performing arts venues that seat 1,500 or less. And it's also open to production entities that produce in venues that seat 1,500 or less. And these can be for-profits, nonprofits, school or university-based, or municipal. And so you just want to tell us what kind of organization you are. And then you want to give us your official IRS name, and that is the name that you use on the tax return for your entity. Your email address, your contact information, all of that information is required. Your website URL or your Creative Ground profile URL. We need your DUNS number, and if you've been in business for a while, undoubtedly you have one. We also need your unique entity identifier number. Now, this field is not required, but we will require a UEI if you receive a grant. And so if you received a federal grant in the last year or two, you already have a UEI. So for instance, if you received a shuttered venue operator grant in that first round, you already have a UEI. And we've got a link here that you can click that will tell you more about this process. Then we need the authorized official's name and title and email address. And we want you then to choose a code for the primary area of your work. And there are a lot of artistic disciplines listed here. So scroll through and look at it and tell us what the primary area of your work is. We want to know when you were founded, incorporated, if you're a nonprofit, when you got your IRS exemption. And then we want to know about your staff, full, part-time, admin, artistic, technical. We also want to know if you have volunteers. The next section, you'll provide a fiscal summary, and this will be actual figures from your last completed fiscal year. So you're going to give us the dates, and then you're going to tell us the total income and the total expense. Later on in this process, you're going to upload a number of financial documents, but this gives us a nice snapshot. Section 2 is the contact person or site coordinator, and you should only fill this out if it's different from the authorized official that you listed in the first section. The third section is your grant request. And so you're going to fill in the dollar amount of your request, and you're going to take that right from the budget form. It will be the last thing at the bottom of the budget form. You're going to fill that in here, and then you're going to tell us how you're using it. And there are 5 different areas, and these correspond directly to the budget form. And so you're going to choose all that apply here. Section 4 is where you're going to upload your documents. So you're going to be creating a narrative. You're going to be answering narrative questions. Those questions are on the last page of the guidelines. And let me say a little bit about this section. We really prefer that you upload documents in PDF format. That way, there's no chance that we can inadvertently alter one of your documents. So really try to make sure that everything's in PDF format. So you've got your narrative. You're going to upload your budget form. And we have two forms on the website that you can download. One is in Microsoft Excel format, and the other is a fillable PDF. We prefer that you use the Excel version because it will do the math for you. And there's a special way to save that form as a PDF. And so watch the budget tutorial because at the end of it, I show you how to do that. So the budget form gets uploaded here. Then the organization financial reports. So the guidelines require you to upload profit and loss statements. One for the period March 3, 2021 to December 31st, 2021, and another one for the same period in 2019. These can be easily generated from QuickBooks or other accounting systems that you use. And again, we prefer PDFs. Next, we want documentation of any COVID-19 related relief funding you received in 2021. And so this could be CARES Act or ARPA funds that you received from us. It could be CARES Act or ARPA funds that you received from your county or your municipality. It could be paycheck protection, your initial SVOG grant if you received one, any EIDL, or any other federal CARES Act or American Rescue Plan Act funds you received. Again, we prefer PDFs, and you can zip up multiple files. If you're a nonprofit or a university or municipally based entity, we want to see a list of your current board of directors or your advisory committee, ideally with the terms of service dates included. Next, we want to see documentation of venue size. So this will be seating charts. So if you are venue, you will upload your seating chart. If you're a production entity, you may be uploading multiple seating charts because you produce in multiple venues. And so again, you can add up to 10 files here. We prefer them in PDF format, and you can zip them up if you want to do that. Next, we want documentation of the losses that you incurred from March 3rd, 2021 to December 31st, 2021, as entered on the budget form. That documentation is going to be very, very important. So it could be correspondence from artists and touring entities about cancellations, documentation of ticket sales, proof of capital expenditures that you might have incurred that are COVID related, like let's say you upgraded your HVAC system, increased personnel costs, health and safety costs, those kinds of things. Make sure that you redact account numbers and any personal information. Again, PDFs, and you can zip them up. If you enacted special COVID-19 policies during the time period that contributed to reduced revenue, you can upload them here. If you conducted audience surveys, you can upload them at letter I. If you created specialized marketing and promotional materials during the time period, you can upload them here at letter J. We definitely want to see documentation of your most recent season. This can be playbills, brochures, website screenshots, etc. Again, we prefer PDFs. We need your certificate of good standing from the New Hampshire Secretary of State at letter L. And then finally, the last upload at letter M is your most recent tax return or annual audit. Once you've attached all of these files, then you go to the certification. This is your electronic signature. So you're going to click the agree button, you're going to type in your name and your title, and then you're going to click submit. When you click submit, one of two things is going to happen. You will either receive a message on the screen that your application has been submitted, or you will receive a message that it hasn't. If it hasn't been submitted, or the system will not accept your application, it's because you didn't complete a required field. So you'll have to scroll up and find the field or fields that you didn't fill out. You can also save your application as a draft as you're working on it. The submittable system is very stable, but we do recommend that every 5 or 10 minutes you scroll down and save your application as a draft. So that is the application for round 2 of Save Our Granite Stages. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Please reach out if you have questions. Thanks.